So, because I can't tell on mine, I can lower it a bit.
No, you can just leave right there.
Okay. Okay, this is Oldecam.
And this is not a spring chicken. Today we're going to be talking about.
Hypocrisy.
And why would we be talking about something like that? I mean, we live in the United States. Would we ever be hypocrites?
Anybody remember that the President of the United States is trying to use the FCC to grab for net neutrality, which is basically to take complete control of the internet away from the people in the guise of giving the people control by turning it over to those people to support the president, which are the mainstream media?
Yeah.
He thinks that it's evil that in Egypt that they've shut down the internet. He didn't think it was evil in Iran until after they jumped all over his ass. Yeah, but it's evil in Egypt that the Mubarak is doing it. He's also, the President of the United States, he's got an executive order that everybody in the news media knows, which gives him a kill switch to turn off the internet and all cell phones without judicial approval or judicial override.
In the name of the national interest?
In the name of the national interest.
But we have nothing in the name of the national interest for doing it right now.
He's scared to death of the Tea Party. The Tea Party is doing exactly what he says that the Egyptians, the Tunisians, the Yemens, and should be allowing their people to do, which is to have. Actually, there aren't peaceful protests in any of those countries. Our people peacefully protest. His idea of a peaceful protest, I guess, is, going in and trying to destroy the King Tut.
Whereas our peaceful protests are, outrageously violent, right?
Yeah, a bunch of old guys in strollers and wheelchairs.
Hit people with canes.
Yeah, and basically they shake their cane and whip you, young whippersnapper. That's a violent protest in our country, according to Obama. They have to be controlled. So that's a great hypocrisy. And then the fact that the Democrats know that it's getting out of control, so in their Hippocratic method, well, George Bush and the Republicans caused this problem. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a good one? George Bush and the Republicans caused this problem. No. Who is the man in office that said, I can deal with these people because I can, make friends with them? Mm-hmm. Bush basically couldn't. Bush was the enemy of the Muslim world. Well, let's put it this way. Under Bush, no Muslim took control of any country.
Over 8 years.
Yeah. Under Obama, it looks like we're going to lose Yemen, we're going to lose Egypt, we're going to lose Algeria, we're going to lose Tunisia, we're going to lose Yemen, we're going to lose Jordan.
6.
Yeah, 6.
In a very short time.
And Saudi Arabia is now
7.
Mobilizing because they're afraid it's going to spill over into their country.
Possibly 7 in a few months?
Yeah. In a matter of months, he will lose 7 countries that are that are more or less American allies to the Islamic movement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so they've changed their tune. Though they believe that okay. Let me put it. The people that are rioting in Egypt now are today demanding Sharia law, and that the Egyptian military immediately attack the Israelis. And you see why the Israelis don't trust this president?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a total hypocrite. I mean, if I was those people in that country, I wouldn't believe, if he tells you he supports the movement, it means he supports the Muslim movement, not the move for democracy.
Yeah. See, part of it is, I don't know exactly what they hear, because, sometimes, well, they've got filtered news too.
Yeah.
I'm never quite certain what they hear about what happens in this country.
Okay. Only the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't have filtered news.
Well, actually, it is filtered. It's just not filtered in the same manner.
No, but we do have open radio where people can talk about, and we have talk radio we can talk about. Then we have right-leaning TV stations and stuff that basically talk about both sides of the issue. But the left basically, the left will filter everything. The left will simply ignore the fact that an attack was made on a Democratic governor of the United States, and they tried to kill a governor that never managed to hit the press because it was a left-winger. Oh. They don't cover the fact that out of the 11 murder attempts that have been made in the last month on politicians, they were all Democrats.
Oh, really?
All of them were left-leaning, socialists, Democrats, voted for the Democrats, yeah.
The ones that were attempted, or the ones
The attempted ones and the ones that actually made their things happen, they were all Democrats, they weren't Republicans. They sort of filtered that little thing out. But the Canadians will basically throw you in the jail if you if you say anything that they condone as hate speech, which is basically, oh, you know, I think the swimsuit needs to be untied. That could be listed as hate speech to them. In Great Britain, you know, I think that swimsuit is too much of you. Well, that's hate speech. Mm-hmm. Basically, I knew Benny Hill. I like Benny Hill. I knew Benny Hill because I worked on. I danced on in the Wonderful World of Brothers Grimm, and Benny Hill was in that movie, and I also danced in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Mm-hmm. That was Benny Hill was in that. Benny Hill was this jolly big guy that basically made a living dressed up as ugly-looking British women. Mm-hmm. But he was put out of business in England. And he died. I mean, this guy literally died from the fact that he was not allowed to do his comedy anymore because they considered it to be hate speech.
What?
Yeah.
How could Benny Hill be hate speech?
Because he poked fun at people. And that's hate speech. How you've seen Eddie Izzard on British TV dressed up in his Golden May outfit and his gay look anymore?
I haven't seen him lately. I always thought he was really funny.
Graham Norton has basically, over on his talk show, I mean, he's openly gay, everybody knows he is, but he has toned down his look, his rhetoric, and everything now. Because it's all hate speech now. It's the gay people that are anti-gay. Okay, Benny Hill, okay, there's always been the thought that Mr. Hill may have been gay.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Because he didn't marry. He always surrounded himself with the most beautiful women and always poked fun at men. So, you know, they said it killed him. Basically, I know that comedians like David Fry, which is a great, you know, he's a political satirist. You know, he died a few days ago. He poked fun of Richard Nixon, but it was all right when he was attacking Nixon. But when he was doing political comedy on Democrats, his career died. Mm. You had David Steinberg, Danny Thomas. Great. They were political. They were satirists. They basically make fun of their own people. David Steinberg, for instance, he was a rabbi's son that basically would talk about things that if you tossed a Jewish child's book up into the air, it would always fall open to certain pages in the Bible. They basically ran him out of the business. And Will Rogers would not be allowed today because Will Rogers would be a proponent of hate speech in our country. So that's what I mean. It's the hypocrisy. Oh, here's another example of hypocrisy. The Screen Actors Guild the Screen Actors Guild, the Golden Globes, the Academy of Arts and Science Oscars are all under attack from the left for not including minority gay individuals in their awards process.
Now, see, I think that is, first of all, one of the most ridiculous things, because the people that are condemning them for that are probably on the far left.
They're on the far left, yeah.
But how many movies or films are there
They want the Rooney Law put in, okay, because pro football, even though, you know, the National Football League is also known as the National Fellowship of Black Individuals League.
Never heard that one before.
That's one of the things, like the National Basketball Association is the National Black League. But and Warner Brothers used to be We're Black. Mm-hmm. You can't survive a National Football League unless you're got a lot of black players on your team. It just doesn't work. You don't see a lot of Latinos. You don't see a lot of Mexicans. But they made the ruling.
You do see a lot of.
Yeah. But they said you had to consider a black individual to be a coach before you could consider a white one, which is against the law.
I mean, it always is. It's like if people aren't based on their qualifications,
no,
right? It's not like, okay, like in a movie. If a role, let's say a role is about Sammy Davis Jr., right? Yeah. If a role is about Sammy Davis Jr., you would expect the person to be cast to look at least like Sammy Davis Jr.
Well, no, I mean, they actually were considering, I like Will Smith, but they were considering Will Smith to play John Wayne and Frank Sinatra.
I mean, I agree with you. I like him, but it's like...
They got Guinevere being played on a British TV series by an Afro-American woman from Tunisia, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You know, Guinevere is sort of long, blonde hair type.
Well, that makes as much sense. Although, see, you may think like all Asians look alike. Remember when they did, what was it, the Geisha movie?
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be Japanese, and they put all the Chinese in it?
All of them were, they put Chinese because the Asian women weren't tall enough. I mean, we didn't know until it was too late because we would have put her over because she was the height that they wanted. So, and since they were looking for Chinese versus, I mean, they just cast a movie. I mean, a few months ago, there's a major A movie being out where they couldn't find Chinese Hawaiians to be in the movie to play Chinese Hawaiians, so they went and cast tall American models to be the, Eurasians to be the Chinese Hawaiians.
Well, at least they were Eurasian. They look more
I know,
like.
but they don't look, okay, we don't have 6 foot tall Asian Hawaiian, I mean, Chinese, they didn't exist.
Well, at least that's a little closer to than Will Smith being cast as.
Well, I know, well,
Frank
they thought
Sinatra.
that was hypocrisy, but
That had to be a satire.
no, they really meant it. It didn't go anywhere because a lot of people were unhappy about that. I knew Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier said he wouldn't do any movie that he couldn't just be Sidney Poitier in. Sidney Poitier played cowboys, he played everything you can think of under the sun. But he played roles that nobody gave a damn what color he was.
Well, because some roles it doesn't make any difference, and some it does make a huge difference.
It didn't make any difference. I mean, like, you could have put black people, Jimmy Brown, I don't tend to pay attention whether Jimmy Brown is black or not. He just seems to fit a lot of the roles that he plays. For instance, would it make any difference whether Lee Marvin was white or black? Not in any of the roles he ever played would it have made the slightest difference. Because Lee Marvin played in every man's role. We were talking about, we've met Ernest Borgnine, I worked with him, and all the roles that Ernest Borgnine played could just as easily, they could be played by an Asian, they could be played by a Latino, because he plays the everyman role. And if it's an everyman role, I think that every man should have an opportunity to do it. But if the role says King Arthur, I don't think Sidney Poitier would have even tried out to play King Arthur. He did Othello because Othello was actually a black man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they tend to place white people in the role of Othello, but Othello was not a white person.
Oh, see, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and King Lear, you can play King Lear. I think I've seen Lawrence Fishburne play King Lear.
Well, because sometimes it's just like reverse discrimination.
Yeah.
But you know what? Reverse discrimination is very similar to hypocrisy.
Well, absolutely, because I can tell you, I was supposed to go to Stanford University when I was, she wasn't even a chick yet. Actually, she wasn't even an
A while ago.
Let's put it this way, it was like way, 55 years ago. I was supposed to go to Stanford University to study medicine. I had the scholarship. And they told me I couldn't come because they had to fulfill minority endowments in 1959. And I said, my mother's an American Indian. My grandmother, on my father's side, one of them is an American Indian. They said, well, that doesn't count. You're the wrong color. And I said, my mother is an American Indian. My grandmother on both sides are American Indians. They said, but you're the wrong color. And they said, how in the hell can I be the wrong color? And they said, well, you look white. Yeah, they got me listed on the census as a bloody American Indian, folks. I'm listed on American census as an American Indian because my grandmothers are Indian and my mother's an Indian. And my great-grandfathers, I go back to the beginning of time with Indians. So just because I favor the Germans and the Irish in my family, but I have all the traits of American Indian if you check me out, folks. I don't burn. I'm blonde-haired, fair-skinned. I don't burn. She knows I go out there and lay in the sun.
I know, and I need suntan lotion all the time.
I don't even bother with it. At the top of my ears, though, that's the only thing that burns on me, is because most of the time my hair grows so bloody fast, the hair grows over the ears, so when they get out, they do go peekaboo. But it was discrimination, reverse discrimination by hypocrites. Well, you're the wrong color. Well, even though, can you imagine a poor black kid? I know an actor, a really famous actor, who was famous, Catskill comedian. He basically became a major television star, playing a funny character. And basically, when his parents were black, but he was light-skinned. And they would say, well, sorry, you can't do this role. We're looking for black people. He said, my mother, you see my mother and father? And they said, well, we don't care, you're white. And he said, have you seen my grandparents? We don't care, you're white. And he said,
It's based on the physical characteristics.
physical characteristics. He was, and then I know another actress an actress that I grew up with in the 1940s. She played a white woman black woman passing as a white woman. Her career died at the premiere when her parents showed up at the premiere. They were so black that you basically couldn't see them unless they smiled. And they said, we really like the fact that you're really into this, that you hired a couple of people to come here. And I said, this is my mother and father. The hypocrites. They were doing a thing about hypocrisy, and then they killed the career of the woman because she was what they were trying to expose. I know people that basically in this industry that will fight tooth and nail to force you to have gay people in your projects and hate gay people.
I know, it's like political correctness is...
Yeah, it's all hypocrisy. And, we have a political system where there's nothing but hypocrites. I mean, they will sit there and condemn the hell out of other countries for doing the very same thing they won't allow Americans to do. I mean, we suppose our Constitution guarantees freedom of speech. I'm talking, I first started school, 7 decades ago. And my first journalism teacher told me that freedom of speech only goes to those people that control the presses. And, Thomas Paine basically with his flyer, it only takes one man to start a revolution, but unfortunately it takes more than one man to print the pamphlet. And he who prints the pamphlet controls the revolution. That's what you're finding out on the right now. He who controls the means of communication controls how the revolution is perceived. If you show nothing but, for instance, if you show the Museum of Antiquities in Cairo being looted, that revolution is dead as a doornail. So basically all you do is get out a written statement after the fact that concerned citizens in the area stopped the King Tut exhibit from being destroyed. So I mean
that's just atrocious.
Yeah, but it's hypocrisy on both sides. The people that are doing the revolution want the internet to be shut off if it's something bad. They don't want the world to know about it. But if their people are being, did you see the three...